Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuvunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminite Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Paritanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. In the very early stage of our chanting, when we are coming to Krishna consciousness newly, our mind suffers from self-absorption. Self-absorption is thinking about me, my immediate anxieties. A child has anxiety to get some toy. A young boy has anxiety to get a young girl. A college-going boy has anxiety about academics. A professional fellow has anxiety to make money. Old people have anxiety about health. Everybody has some immediate lingering concerns in the mind which keeps them completely preoccupied, I call it as like an emotional balloon around their head. Yeah? That is always like an emotional cloud that goes with them wherever they go. So, as they...
Recording in progress.
As one goes place to place, that emotional sphere around their head goes with them and keeps them preoccupied and absorbed. So, in the Yoga Sutras, it is said, Chitta Vritti Nirodha, it says. That if somebody wants to perform yoga, the chitta, which is like a lake, should be free from the vrittis. Vrittis are the disturbances. The disturbances are compared to ripples in the lake. If there are ripples in a lake, then the moon is not visible. When the ripples are stopped, it's like a glass, plain glass, like a mirror. Like a mirror is clean and plain, then any object is visible on that. Otherwise, if there is a ripples, so vritti is ripples. Vasana means you throw a stone, it produces a wave. That is called vasanas. And throw a huge boulder, that produces tides. That is called samskaras. So this vritti, vasana, samskaras, they keep the mind completely preoccupied with mind chatter, we call it. What to speak of daytime, even in the night time when we lie down, most people who suffer from insomnia, they suffer from the mental chatter. Constantly there is a kind of, to give an example for this, sometimes in computer many files are open and in a hurry you wind up your work and just close it like this without properly shutting down. Next day morning you get up, you touch the computer, it is like hot, like a frying pan. It is so hot. You have experienced that sometimes. Similarly, when our mind has multiple concerns, worries, anxieties lingering in the mind, you just go and lie down in the bed. Sometimes you have slept even 8 hours, you are still not satisfied. That is because of the mental chatter in the night that keeps the mind preoccupied even while lying down. And next day morning, mind gets very hot. So here is a very important point that how do we move from the stage of mental chatter about lingering anxieties from the current situation of the conditioned soul in this world. My life is simply a flash of time in the time span of eternity. This is not worth contemplating so much. Because we are all put in a situation which is constantly changing. Sometimes in a king's body, sometimes in an ordinary human being's body, sometimes in a human body, sometimes in an animal body. Sadasad yoni janmasu, it says. Sometimes in a Sad Yoni means demigod's body or a human body. Asad Yoni means animal, aquatic, reptile, grasses and things like that. So the living entity is constantly moving from one body to another. And currently I am situated in one body. Why to become so mentally absorbed about my current situation, which is going to be a changing situation? That's the question. See, if I am traveling in a train from, like recently I was traveling from Baltimore to Philadelphia. It's a short trip, maybe 3 hours trip or whatever. Imagine I start worrying about this, I'm sitting in this train bogie, can I bring some bricks and build a wall or something? Can I put some fans or anything? I don't have to worry about making anything in the train because it's a place not to stay, it's a place to quit. Therefore, it is said this world is like a bridge. Let's cross it, not stay there. So when that consciousness comes, it is called as living in a renounced temperament while living in this body. So Vidura was living in a palace, of the Kauravas. He was advisor to Dhritarashtra, minister also. Naturally, he must have been given all facilities and everything. But Vidura never thought this is my permanent place. Any time I may have to quit this place. So one of the days when Duryodhana chastised him, throw this man out of the palace only with his life air. He eats of a salt, but he always favors the Pandavas. At that time, he was sharply rebuked and it pricked him for a moment only, because he was a great soul, self-realized soul. So it didn't prick him for a long time. Quickly he could convert the misfortune into good fortune by leaving the palace instantly, keeping his bow, slant on the door, which means if you keep the bow like this on the door, which means I am not going to use it, I am not going to fight. And then he left the palace. So he took shelter of internal potency to intensify his spiritual life by going on a pilgrimage. And Duryodhana took shelter of external potency and spoke very sharp rebuking words to a great soul and accrued terrible offenses and karma. You can see that in this world, at every moment, we all have to take shelter of external potency or internal potency right now. And we take shelter of internal potency that is purifying, uplifting, bliss producing eventually. External potency instantly may give a passionate thrill, but it buries one in suffering eventually. Right now. So that happened to Duryodhana. So Vidura, as he proceeded, he came across two great personalities, Uddhava and Maitreya. So when he met Uddhava, he asked a question to Uddhava. Uddhava, please tell me about Lord Krishna and the Dwarkavasis. You know about all because you lived in Dwarka. Please tell me. You are one of the closest associates of Lord Krishna and a cousin of Krishna also. And you are a mantri, minister of Krishna also. Please tell me about Krishna. As soon as he heard that question, immediately his mind, Uddhava's mind became flooded with thoughts of Krishna. And Prabhupada says the tears sprung from his eyes and glided down his cheeks, and he lost his control and he fell unconscious. After a while he woke up, and when he woke up, Prabhupada says in that purport, he came down from Vaikuntha, he says. Now he was right in front of Vidura. Why is he using the word came down from Vaikuntha? Then Prabhupada says his body was in this world, but his consciousness was posted in Vaikuntha, he says. So he had to bring himself from that spiritual plane to the external plane, where he is supposed to now become sober and not be spiritually agitated and be able to speak cogently some words about Krishna. So then he speaks to Vidura in great ecstasy. Those verses, if you see, how Uddhava tells about Krishna. He says, look at this personality. He killed Kamsa and he finished him, and then he is putting Ugrasena on the chair, on the Simhasan, instead of he himself ruling. Actually, everybody wants him to rule, but he is putting that old man, old personality, Ugrasena, comes as father on the throne. And every day he gives a report to him as if Ugrasena is the king and he is his servant. What type of personality is this? Like that one verse that he speaks about Krishna are all spoken in great ecstasy. And he says, look at these non-devotees, how much they remember him in fear and enmity. We devotees oftentimes are slack in remembering him, like that he says. Although he is constantly remembering Krishna. Great devotees in ecstasy feel that they are not remembering at all. And neophytes think that they are always remembering. So, the reason is, like you see this white wall, on this you put a black dot, it will be very visible. And if somebody has a cloth with multiple colors, in that you put a black dot, nobody can see it. Similarly, in the impure stage, lack of remembrance of Krishna is not understood also by the conditioned soul. But in the liberated stage, one moment you forget Krishna, you think it's a big loss. You feel like that. So, now, I was telling a few minutes ago to you that everybody has a cloud around their head of emotions filled, which are all about the current situation of the conditioned soul. I was telling you. In the same manner, Uddhava was having another cloud, which is a spiritual cloud around him. He was having a cloud of Krishna thought, Krishna remembrance. See, in Bible you must have heard the word Father, Son and Holy Spirit. So Father is Krishna, Son is the Guru, and the Holy Spirit is Krishna consciousness. When the Holy Spirit descends on a person, he can do things which are superhuman. Like in Bible you read that one time one group of priests were sent to one place, and in that place they didn't know the language of the people. But they started speaking in that language and preaching about God. And that was made possible because of the Holy Ghost descending in them, it is said. Similarly, when Krishna consciousness dominates the head of a person, mind becomes cleaned up completely, purified and focused on the Lord's remembrance, and one can forget the external world. This is said in that famous verse. What is it? Ihayasya Hare Dasye Karmana Manasagira Nikilashya Pyavastasu Jivan Muktasya Uchyate. So a liberated person, he is inside the body, resident, Navadware Pure, he is sitting in the body of nine holes, as a person who is completely aloof from it. Aloof doesn't mean he gives up family and goes to Himalayas. He is in the family, he is in the job, but he can clearly see that he doesn't identify with the situations and the family and the job and the money and the bank balance and all these things, although he can very much live in the midst of it and be even interacting with them also. Like there is one verse in the 5th chapter of the Gita, what is that? Naiva kinchit karomi iti yukto manyeta tatpabet pashyan, srinvan, sprishan, jigran, ashnan, gachan, swapan, shwasan, pralapan, visrijan, unvishan, nimishan napi, indriyani, indriyarteshu vartante iti dharayan, he says. So he is interacting with all the senses and sense objects, but without becoming attached to them. So this is a very wonderful platform of Jivan Mukta. Like sometimes a coconut, a green coconut, you put it in water for 3 months. When you take out, you do like this, inside it becomes, what do you call that? Copra or cobra? Cobra is this one. Copra, I think. Yeah. Copra is Vidura. Do like this, kadu sound comes. So a Jivan Mukta is like that. One can be a woman, one can be a man, one can be anybody, one can be Vidura. So now how do we withdraw? I will say in 3-4 minutes and I will conclude that. This is the main thing. How do we withdraw? Like the way Uddhava withdrew himself. On the contrary, Duryodhana foolishly was having a cloud of his material situation, thinking that I am going to be ruling the world forever. He was never made the king. But he was imagining I am going to become the king, I will be ruling forever. So these two are like diametrically opposite personalities. Vidura is living with completely renounced temperament, although he was a minister. And Duryodhana is not even a king, he is just a prince. And there is a talk going on about making Yudhishthira the king also already. And he is imagining his situation is permanent. So he portrays a conditioned soul, isn't it? So how to go from this Duryodhana type of mindset to Vidura type of mindset? And similar to Vidura, Vidura is living in a renounced temperament. But Uddhava is living in an absorbed temperament of absorption in Krishna. Now what is the difference between these two? Is the renounced temperament gives you detachment. And absorption in Krishna makes you oblivious completely. So we begin with detachment and go to a stage where we will become oblivious of the surroundings completely. Now, the difference between the two is, when I am detached from something, that doesn't drag me, it doesn't impel me, it doesn't trouble me. I can leave it and be aloof. But that's not all. We have to absorb our mind in positive spiritual absorption in such a manner that it enlivens our senses spiritually. Just like iron rod put in fire, it makes it fiery. So, therefore, that is Uddhava's consciousness now. Now, for doing this, 3 levels of contemplation are very important. One is compassionate purpose of Krishna's creation. That is the first thing. Begin with that, this type of contemplation. Compassionate purpose of Krishna's creation. And secondly, Krishna should be observed objectively, and one should study his qualities and characteristics and his nature and his behavior. One should study that. Thirdly, Krishna's interaction with his devotees, 2 types of devotees, pure devotees and progressing devotees. How he does it. If we can do these 3 homework exercises by the study of the scriptures, we can completely absorb ourselves. So, if you see the creation in this world, this creation is not a concentration camp. This is a jail. Because concentration camp is a place where one is meant to die, like whatever Hitler did. Whereas jail is a place meant for reformation. You can see in the jail food is given, medication is given. Similarly, Krishna is giving us food, he is giving us all the Ayurvedic herbs and everything is giving us. And he is also giving us knowledge through the Guru Parampara which is coming down. He is coming as the holy rivers, he is coming as the holy temples, sending the holy devotees, the holy name, holy prasad. He is just enveloping us with his mercy, saying, get reformed, my dear child, come back to me. You can see his compassionate purpose everywhere in this creation. And also, he himself comes. He thinks that I have sent many things, that's not enough, let me go and remind them. So he himself comes also. And then Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya verse says that, Sambhavami Yuge Yuge, he comes. Now not only he comes, he knows that I am coming and going, but at that time when I am coming, all jivas may not be connecting with me. Later on jivas will come. So he has acharyas like Vedavyasa, who puts it down in writing, Itihas, Puranas and everything, so that later jivas can also benefit from his visit. And not only the books, in order to teach the books, there is Guru Parampara also. He has given a Guru Parampara succession of teachers, GPS we call it, Guru Parampara system. GPS, like you have a car, GPS takes you to the destination, this GPS takes us back to Godhead. So you can see how much he is concerned. And you can see any trouble in this world we all have is not given by Krishna, it is only made possible by the foolish jivas only. For example, around the earth he has put a ozonosphere. Ozonosphere is a protective layer which will not allow any UV radiation to come inside. But foolish living entities throw carbon monoxide from their vehicles and they make depletion of the ozone layer due to which UV radiation is coming. It's like somebody takes a stone and throws up and stone comes and hits you and says, why God is giving me suffering? God is not giving suffering, you are only hating. So we create sufferings in this world. So he is trying to get us back and we are trying to suffer more and more foolishly. It's like taking an axe and hitting one's own feet foolishly. So therefore, this is the first thing, understand at physical, mental, emotional, intellectual, spiritual level, what are Krishna's gifts for the living entities. This is a very, very worthy contemplation. You will read this in the book called as Vaishnava Compassion. There is one full chapter on this. By His Holiness Sachidananda Maharaj Goswami. Very beautiful article. I was thrilled. I spoke it in many places after reading that because I personally found it very helpful. And while, after we finish this, then we go to the second one I told you. Observe Krishna objectively. What are Krishna's qualities? Sripad Ramanujacharya has studied all the Purana scriptures and like Vishnu Purana, Padma Purana, everything. From that he has brought out some 12 qualities. First he talks about his Aishwarya qualities of the Lord, like for example, Jnana, Bala, Virya, Shakti, Teja, all those qualities he is talking about. Then he is talking about 12 very sweet qualities, like beginning with Saushilya, Madhurya, Gambhirya, Chaturya, Sthairya, Dhairya, like that. He talks about 12 qualities. How, the Lord possesses qualities, his truthfulness. He is socially means he is very easily approachable, he is relatable, and he makes himself easily available and things like that. So if we study those qualities of Krishna, and also Krishna's non-credit taking nature, he will do all the work and give the credit to his devotees. Like he says, Mayaiva yete nihataha purvameva nimitta matram bhavasavya sachi. He says, Arjuna, I will give you guidance on how to fight the battle, but you take both the gross credit and subtle credit yourself. Gross credit is kingdom, subtle credit is the ability to bring the victory. So let the world glorify you as a Gandhivadari Arjuna, and you also take the kingdom and enjoy. What I will do? I will just have the credit that I assisted you, that's all. I am your charioteer, that's all, Parthsarathi. Similarly, Krishna was the one who gave the idea to our Bhima, how to, Jarasandha, you are cutting him like this, he is again and again connecting. You put him like this, you put him like this so he won't be able to connect. Idea giver is Krishna, executor is Bhima, and the glory was given by Yudhishthira to Bhima. And Bhima also said, brother, I didn't go alone, Arjuna came with me. So Krishna told Bhima to go first, then Arjuna to go second, then lastly he got off the chariot. He didn't take any credit. In this world, if we are the seed idea giver, people will make sure that the whole world knows it. Isn't it? People say, anybody can execute, my dear friend, but idea was given by whom? Go and ask, they will say. So, when we study the sublime nature of Krishna, how he behaves with his devotees, so that is going to deeply churn our heart, touch our heart, his nature, his speech, his behavior. Therefore, there's a song, Adaram, Madhuram, that song. Whole song talks about one quality of Krishna. Now, thirdly, Krishna's innate nature, I told you, is completely selfless and non-exploitative. He will say that I am the supreme enjoyer, I am the controller, I am proprietor. But if you see, where is the proprietor? He says he is proprietor, but he gives proprietorship to his devotees only. He will take off, he will kill Hiranyakashipu and put Prahlada on the throne. He will kill Vali and put Sugriva on the throne. He will kill Ravana and put Vibhishan on the throne. He killed Jarasandha and put his son Sahadeva on the throne. He will never sit on the throne, although he says I am proprietor, because he has full trust in his devotees. So he puts his devotees on throne, and what he will do, he will be acting as a servant of his devotee. Like you see, he is Krishna Mande Jagat Guru. He is a guru of the whole universe, but he will make himself a disciple of his own devotee. He will go to the Sandipani ashram and say, I am your disciple. He will become Rama and become a disciple of Vasishta. So that is his nature. Similarly, he also says, Suhritam Sarva Bhutanam, I am the well-wisher of all the living entities. But then he makes his pure devotees the well-wisher also. Like Lord Chaitanya one day told Nityananda, my dear Nityananda, you are a better preacher than me, he said. Nityananda said, my dear Lord, why do you say like that? We are all your servants. And Chaitanya said, see, I am a chakra-wielding preacher. I took chakra and tried to kill Jagamadai, but you are a love-awarding preacher. So who is greater? Nityananda said, my dear Lord, I am like a body and you are like my life air. So out of the two, which is superior? Without life air, the body is useless. Similarly, without your instruction, I have no potency to preach. Therefore, you are superior to me, he said. So they both are having a competition, Lord and the devotee. So you will find the Lord and the devotee defeat one another by love. And it is very difficult for the Lord to, compete in front of the devotee. He becomes defeated by the love. So in this way, the nature of Lord's dealing with his pure devotees and the nature of Lord's dealing with the conditioned souls. In conditioned souls, there are two types of conditioned souls. One is non-devotees and another one is devotees. Krishna says in the 9th chapter towards the end, what are the benefits of being Krishna's devotee even in this world as a conditioned soul? He says, I give special treatment to my devotees. Tesham satati yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena maam apayantite. I give them the buddhi by which they can come back to me. But I don't give buddhi to ordinary conditioned souls. I only give matta smritir jnanam apohanam, which means I give them knowledge, forgetfulness and remembrance for the conditioned soul as per the way they surrender to me. He says, Now when I read this 15.15 Bhagavad Gita verse, I wondered, why does Lord give forgetfulness? For all living entities, He should give remembrance. I thought like that. Later on, when I read Prabhupada's books, I understood. Try to picturize in your mind, you have a ISKCON ship now. There are many people inside the ship of ISKCON chanting, dancing very happily in the ocean, when it is steering in the ocean. And there are many conditioned souls drowning. So some are enjoying in the ship, some are throwing rope to pick up others. Which means the preachers, they try to pick up conditioned souls and bring them into the ship of ISKCON. But some fellows in the ocean are swimming in the opposite direction. And you are worried, that fellow is going on the other side, let me go and bring him. You yourself jump off and then go and catch them by the collar and tell them, hey, ship is here, not there. He says, I know it, don't trouble me. There are people like that. So those who are not inclined, even after knowing the truth, then Krishna doesn't force them. He says, I'll give you forgetfulness. Those living entities want to lord over other living entities. Those living entities who offend and blaspheme the Vaishnavas. And those living entities who become inimical to Krishna and they don't want Krishna to interfere in their work, Krishna doesn't interfere, He gives them forgetfulness. And for those who are little sincere, He gives them remembrance. For example, a student goes to take a cigarette, all his friends are smoking. As soon as he takes a cigarette, the super soul gives him smriti. He says, hey, in the last life you smoked and you got a cancer and died. Why are you again touching it? Then he gives it up. Therefore, you will find there are many people who have not touched any sinful activity because they know that they have suffered in the previous lives. They are given the remembrance. And thirdly, you will find that is smriti. And jnanam is given to whom? Like you are walking in the street, you have a great longing to find out who is God, why did He create this world? Why am I here? Who am I? When one is thinking like this, Lord immediately understands this jiva wants to meet me. He says, look across the road, there's a book distributor. Cross the road and pick up a book. And he tells the book distributor, hey, where are you looking? That side, look behind. See, there is one fellow looking for you. He connects both because he is the heart of both the people. And he brings them together. The book is transferred from his hand to the other hand. The fellow reads it and becomes devotee. So in this way, Lord gives smriti, jnanam, apohanam for the normal conditioned souls. But for those who have already committed as devotees, you are 16 rounds, you are chanting, 4 regulative principles you are following, and then as you progress, you go from the Vaidhi to Raganuga. When the Raga is about to begin, the Lord starts supplying a lot of intelligence to the devotee. And there is a difference between a Vaidhi Bhakti and Raga Bhakti. In Vaidhi Bhakti, if a devotee wants to bloop, also Lord will allow him to get some kicks from Maya and come back. In Raga Bhakti, if somebody tries to bloop, Lord will slap him. Hey, where are you going? That's why I come here. Because the devotee has become owned by the Lord. So our goal of life is to become possessed by the Lord and owned by the Lord, especially Srimati Radharani. Mam anki kritya mayasa ramaswa. Like that Gopala Guru Goswami writes. He says, oh Srimati Radharani, own me, possess me, make me your own servant or servant maid, and engage me in Krishna's service, and don't let me go away, punish me if need be, in order for me to stay in Krishna's lotus feet. So this mood of becoming possessed by the Lord, owned by the Lord is a very great feeling it is. It's such a safe feeling and protected feeling that I am God's man. Just like Hanuman was asked, hey, who are you? Ravana asked him. He said, Dasoham Kaushalendrasya Ramasya Aklishta Karmana. He says, I am servant of Lord Rama, who is personality, who is of the highest character. And he is not like a man like you. Like that he told Ravana. So Hanuman had the Abhiman, Dasabhiman, that I am servant of Rama. So once this mood sinks in our heart, I am Krishna's servant and nobody else's servant. Now I am not servant of any other demigod. I am owned by Krishna, possessed by Krishna, especially Srimati Radharani, who is Antaranga Shakti. She will engage me in Krishna's service. So, and how Krishna deals with his devotees. So these subject matters, as they sink in our heart, so 3 levels I told you, Krishna's, compassionate purpose of Krishna's creation, and objectively viewing Krishna's qualities and characteristics, 64 qualities of Krishna, correct? Now we study in the Nectar of Devotion. And Krishna's dealing with his pure devotees and conditioned souls, and amongst the conditioned souls, progressive devotees and those who are non-devotees. So these are all subject matters worthy of our study. Now you may ask, what is the connection of these things to the japa? There is a direct connection. Direct connection, because if this subject matter is assimilated by a sadhaka devotee, this is going to soften the heart. A softened heart is a very conducive place for the namabhas to arise. When namabhasa arises, then the purification starts. Till namabhas, no purification. There is only very little ajnata sukriti. In the aparadhanam, namabhas, shuddhanam. Aparadhanam means completely dark clouds. You cannot see the sun at all. Namabhas means silvery cloud. And shuddhanam means no cloud, only sun. So for us to do some purification, we have to come to namabhas. It's very important. And if you don't chant namabhas, continue the aparadha year after year after year, then our progress is very minimal progress. But if you want to make more progress, these subject matters are valuable for us to observe. So in conclusion, I told you, I began with Vidura and Duryodhana comparison. Duryodhana was slapped by external energy and Vidura was sheltered by internal potency. And Vidura always lived in a renounced temperament. And that Vidura meets Uddhava, who always lived in complete absorption of Krishna at every moment, one of the greatest pure devotees and very dear associate of Krishna. Uddhavo buddhi sattamaha, he said, he is the most intelligent personality and Krishnasya daita sakha, it is said. He is a very, very dear associate of Krishna also. Amongst all the mantris, it is said that Mantrinam, he is called as Pravaro Mantri. Pravaro Mantri means amongst all the mantri, he is the topmost mantri. But at the same time, he was a pure devotee also. So he had a cloud of Krishna consciousness always. So we can learn from Uddhava and Vidura how to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness along with a renounced temperament while living in the world. Our life is a small flash of time. There are so many living entities dragging their bodies, moving here and there, struggling. We are one of those millions of jivas here in this world and living for a flash of time in the time span of eternity. Let us not become self-absorbed in our tiny activities and let us uplift our vision from the material to spiritual. And in that spiritual platform, we talked about three things: compassionate purpose of Krishna's creation, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's reciprocation. So by absorbing our mind in these things, our Nam Japa will be very meaningful and purposeful. Harinam Prabhu ki. Thank you very much.
Radheshyam Prabhu ki.
Recording stopped.
Hope I didn't go very fast, isn't it? Oh, you have Lord Chaitanya dancing on your chest. Very good.
We can continue Japa now.
Yeah, sure.
So, usually when we try to detach ourselves, it's quite pretentious and we just take it.
Correct.
And absorption is also not in that way. So, how do I do practically?
Actually, we do both simultaneously. Like for example, the NOI, Nectar of Instruction, first 3 verses, Atyahara, it begins with Vachavegam, Manasavegam, and then Atyahara Prayasascha, and then Utsaha Nishayadhairya. Totally there are 18 items. So you make a table, all 18 items you put here, and here you put the days, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 30 in a month, 30 or 31st, So January, February, you can have like a calendar type of thing, you have it. Today you become angry with somebody, you put in Krodhavegam, you can mark it. One day there was a festival day, you overate prasad. We all know very well. I should not have overeaten. Actually, many people know they should not overeat, but on that day they forget. So you write that. In this way, you star mark and do this exercise for about just 3 months only. You will be greatly surprised after 3 months. The problems are of a repetitive nature. It's not that you get new problems. There are humble people who are always humble, but their problems are different. Similarly, the proud people are proud and they suffer from anger, things like that. So, 3 months of effort will give you, say, some very good homework to work on. Say 5 or 10 out of these 18 items I got. Now I know that amongst the items, then what we can do, the next 3 months what we can do. Okay, take only these anarthas. And then you can give a grading of intensity. Like when I become angry, I become 8 out of 10. Very angry, correct? And when I am eating prasad, overeating, that happens not very frequently. That happens once in 3 months or whatever. So now you get into the details of the anarthas. Each of the anarthas you can write. And then whichever anarthas are really at the top ranking anarthas, then we have to go to the spiritual masters and other Vaishnavas lectures we should go. I heard once on false pride, almost 20 lectures of Maharaj. I heard, I highlighted, I pulled out the points, I sutrized, and I made a sheet and put it in front of me. Daily kept watching. Maharaj says this, Maharaj renounced in various ways. So repeatedly we keep watching it, and then gradually our pride will get diminished by that. So each of it we have to work like that. Each anartha we have to work like that. So by doing these things, now for example, if I find that certain material attachments are very strongly, like there are devotees who want to have multiple electronic gadgets, even in brahmacharis also. Then there are other brahmacharis who want to have, when they join, we give them one cupboard. After that, one trunk comes, one bureau comes, and one more bureau. Correct? It's possible. So that means they increase possessions too much. So then there has to be some kind of taboo put on, limit. Correct? No? So we tell them that this is what you have to reduce. Now find out. So then we put all the books in the library. We told them you can use them in the library. You are anyway not reading. Not that you have to possess everything. Correct? No? So in this way, somebody has to control us, correct? Huh? And then we find in which areas I need to work on detachment. Yesterday I told 5 P's, in the lecture I was saying. What are the 5 P's I say? Penny, pleasures, position,
people,
and possessions. So the 5 P's that pinch you, correct? Huh? So these are the 5 P's which pinch us due to our material attachment. Now you can find out amongst this what are things, like some people are so much eager for popularity, that one desire is making them run from pillar to post. You have to go for that conference, I have to be on the stage. 5 minutes they get to talk and they have to attend the program for almost half a day. You've seen that now? Because they have to come in the camera, they know that it will go into the news media and stand next to so and so and take, and so that means each of these items, 5 items, they can be extremely, they can take a lot of our energy, time, attention, money and everything like that. So how do we become detached? Identify which of the 5 P's drags me the most. Correct? No? There are people, I was telling a lecture yesterday, one example, one man, he was having one job in the morning and one job at night and one job in day also. So many hours, almost 17, 16 hours he was working. And he got a massive heart attack, And then he never thought of wife or children. But when he came home, he saw nobody was there. In fact, wife has served a divorce notice and gone away already. So in family front he is a fool. In the health front he is a fool. Only his pocket has money, and that money is not coming to help because now doctor is saying that your heart is in a very dangerous situation. You can see that. That means if you become too much attached to money, what happens? You can see. Too much attached to, correct, no? Possessions, positions, pleasures. Similarly, some people are so much mad after pleasures. Because of that, they have to cut a sorry figure. Correct, no? Like for example, we are giving everybody 2 gulab jamuns. Somebody comes to the plate and asks, Prabhuji, one more. And they ask. And the Prabhuji, Prabhu, limited. Yes, everybody is seeing. So when you go back, people say, hey, they turned you away. Correct, no? You have to cut a sorry figure. No? So you will see that in Yatra also, sometimes people go back and ask, can I get one more, right? No? So if I cannot have control of the tongue, I will have to cut a sorry figure. If a man is married to a woman, but he is not having control, he goes to another woman, he gets a slap. It has happened like this. So we will see in this world, the pleasures make us cut a sorry figure. So by understanding these 5 P's, their nature, studying them, and studying the material pleasure has to be studied in detail. Yesterday I didn't speak at all. There are a dozen characteristics of material pleasure. If you study about them, like material pleasure, like if somebody gives you a birthday gift, nicely packed, it looks, you are mad after opening and seeing what it is. But after opening, it's a quartz clock, you throw it in a corner, attraction goes away. Like this, there are a dozen philosophical points in Bhagavad Gita. When I'm making one of the books I'm currently preparing, I want to make this, item so simple that even a layman can understand them, We should make it like that, because otherwise Bhagavad Gita, people study they study a lot, but many times these points are hidden here and there. So, we have to work on both fronts. Developing renounced temperament, like a drop of water and a lotus leaf. That's the example given. Padma Patram, Ivambasa. That is one thing. Another thing, absorption in Krishna. So this is called as anartha nivritti, that is called artha pravritti. So both we have to develop. Now the beauty of demons in Vrindavan Leela, there are 21 demons, In the COVID time I was speaking on them. In English and Hindi I spoke. So the beauty of this demons pastime is, see, Vrindavan is filled with Krishna's pastime, very sweet. But that's why the demons also come. So Krishna killing the demons will teach you anartha nivritti. And then Krishna's playful pastimes with his devotees, that will give you artha pravritti. Like if you see on the Kaliya, below Krishna's lotus feet, Kaliya is in trouble. Krishna is dancing on him. But above Kaliya's hoods, Krishna is dancing beautifully. So devotees are exchanging love with him. So Krishna simultaneously performs, a blissful, loving exchange with devotees while purifying demon also. Another pastime, Govardhan Lila, if you see, Rasaraj under Giriraj, correct, no? Rasaraj is Krishna lifting Govardhan. So above Govardhan hill, there is purification going on. For whom? Indra. And below the hill, there is pastime going on. So the beauty of this Vrindavan pastime, you can simultaneously get artha pravritti and anartha nivritti, both. That's the reason I took it up during the COVID. So in this way, anartha nivritti teaches us renounced temperament. And artha pravritti teaches us, more and more spiritual mental absorption. I was telling you, TII, transcendently imbued intelligence. We get that, and our intelligence becomes transcendently imbued, then our intelligence always makes plan how to go closer and closer to Krishna. But if my intelligence is imbued with material sentiments, then it always finds out way to, take me away from Krishna by making material plans. Right? No? Yeah. There are so many people who are devotees also, but they make a lot of material plans but don't make spiritual plans. That's because the intelligence is still imbued with material sentiments. Right now. So in this way, as devotees, we all have to do our homework from our side. Prabhupada books are exhaustive, lot of things are there, but we have to extract pearls of wisdom from it, put it on a paper for ourselves, for personal application. When we were studying this Bhakti Shastri, there is something called as 12 aims of Shastric study, In the first column, you have this knowledge, understanding, and application. Sorry, knowledge and that KNO and UND, and realization. Knowledge, understanding, realization. The second column, personal application, preaching application, and theological application. And then the third column is the most important thing. Now, faith and conviction, mood and mission, Shastra Chakshus, responsibility for learning, authority, academic authority, moral integrity, all these things come in that third column. So, knowledge, first column is knowledge, second column is skills, third column is values. So, in my training program in India, in the leaders program, I always focus on the third column. Because in the third column, all the vital, the first column is very external things. We have theoretical knowledge, we may have some understanding. But when you apply it personally, personal application, preaching application, theological application, that actually makes the understanding become deeper to the level of good realization. Then when you go to third column, the third column is a stage where faith and conviction and all have built. And that is where this kind of absorption can come. The third column. The more you increase that column, say faith and conviction in Krishna, mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada, and also Shastra Chakshus, and having the eyes, wearing the spectacles of Shastra and seeing the world around only through Shastra. Like, His Holiness, when Sanghasnagar Prabhu was telling, when they would attend a brahmachari class, when they would come out in the New York, when they would come out, they would see the tall buildings. Bhumi Rapo, Analo, Ayukam, Mano, Buddhi, Revacha, like that they would think. These are all 5 material elements. And you look at the road, Jiva, people are running here and there. All the Jivas are, Manashasthani, Indriyani, Pakratistani, Karshati, they are all running here and there. So he saw that, even Vaisheshik Prabhu says, the Jiva is out there in the marketplace and he is tatastha, which means he is open-minded. You show him a book, he doesn't mind seeing it. He wants Maya also, but he wants Krishna also, he says. So, if you see the world around you with the spiritual eye given by the Shastra, then these things, developments can happen more fastly with that. Otherwise, nowadays, even in a counselor meeting, recently we took one survey in Pune, that who is doing what in their counselor meeting. And we were shocked to know that sometimes somebody is doing one verse from Bhagavad Gita. In one group, they were doing 2.13 one month. Next month, 2.14, like that. And the third month, 2.15. And slowly it's going. So the whole year, they only learned one thing: I am not the body, I am the soul. That's all they learned. And do you think our life is very long? I was telling, in Satya Yuga, this may be all right. We have 1 lakh years available. Now if you go in this pace, how are you going to assume? There are so many sublime things to be learned. So I think definitely we need to have some kind of guidelines on how the counseling meetings can be made more effective. Correct? No? For all the people to develop from Kanishta to Madhyam to Uttam, no? We definitely need inputs. Actually, many of the Grihasthas are wonderful people, but you have to give them some material, well prepared, so that when they, that is the reason why many ISKCON acharyas are publishing books. That's the main reason, because we need to know how to make a progress in a very planned way. Otherwise, we may have the meeting, kirtan happens, some little talk happens, prasadam happens, and people are more or less talking many things about their worldly occupation and engagements and worries. The spiritual absorption will make us constantly think about it, correct? No?